Welcome to Ring the Down Bell. Tonight is Friday, which means the recap of Friday Night Smackdown. I am your host, KG, and with me I have my very tired co-host, the wrestling enthusiast, Mark. What's going on, man?
I feel very enthusiastic. I'm tired. But yeah.
Well, let's get this going real quick. It was announced that when Raw goes to SmackDown, Raw goes to Netflix in January, a lot of their archives won't be following behind. But that doesn't really affect us here in the United States. Who that does affect are people outside of the United States. Here in the United States, we will still have Peacock that will still have all of WWE's archives until 2026. So those who are outside of the country, unfortunately, they're going to have to rely on YouTube if they want to watch some old wrestling from the archives of WWE. Also, the big exciting news, something I'm excited about, is Tessa Blanchard has re-signed after 4 or 5 years with TNA Wrestling. And of course, right away, we have people crying about it. And this is what gets me, Mark. These same people who are crying about Tessa Blanchard going back to TNA, which she absolutely deserves to go back to TNA. The same people who are crying about this are the same people who would be creaming all over themselves if Hulk Hogan went back to WWE and had his last final WrestleMania headline match that he wants to have, right? These people would be creaming on themselves, but yet they're going to cry over Tessa Blanchard. So fuck off is what I have to say to all of you who are crying about this. Sorry, that's how I feel. I know I should supposed to be not I shouldn't be biased. You know, we had this podcast I'm trying to draw, but I am going to be loyal to those who I love in professional wrestling, those who deserves to be in the headlines, those who are the best in the industry. And that is Tessa Blanchard. She is better than the majority of female wrestlers out there.
She's better than 95% of them.
Exactly.
Now, did Tessa Blanchard do something wrong? The rumor is she did. All right. I think she's been penalized 4 years of her career, pretty much wiped out, of her prime years too. Um, you know, that's a hefty price to pay. She's lost opportunities to go to AEW or WWE. So she's lost out financially quite a bit. Um, is TNA a good home for her? Yeah, I hope somebody else picks her up in a year. Uh,
But
but
I tell you what, this is a good time to come back to TNA because as we talked about the last podcast, TNA has absolutely came up from the issues that they get from the ashes, and they are revitalized and they seem to be doing very well. And look, let me tell you something about, who amongst us have not made mistakes or said things allegedly, right? Allegedly. And this is the thing though, the person that she allegedly really said something about, soon after that, they made up, and there's pictures of them together on social media that this person actually posted herself, right? But yet they still wanted to punish her. So you know what? Fuck off. Tessa Blanchard deserves that second chance. And again, Tessa Blanchard is one of the best. I put her at the top two, right? Best female wrestlers out there. Period. Bar none. End of story. Let's go to this recap.
all right. So you have your traditional showing of everybody's going to be on tonight, coming into the arena or whatever. So we start with Jimmy the Ring, talking about family and war games. and his future and what he might go for in the future. Lo and behold, out of nowhere, Drew attacks Jimmy with a claymore. Bad habit.
Look, I laughed. I think it was funny. Jimmy Uso, man, I really liked what he was saying tonight. He was making jokes. I loved when the crowd was going yeet, and he's like, wrong twin, but nonetheless, I'm still proud of my brother. He was great tonight. He was great. Um, Drew McIntyre attacking Jimmy really is setting up for something big, I believe, because it is now obvious that he is targeting every member of the OG bloodline.
Pretty much. So next we go to Tiffany, who's doing kind of like a pre-match workout. Naya and the Poison Pixie pretty much wish her good luck and kind of saying, well, if you're that good, you can win this title. You don't need to use your money in the bank and blah blah, and you won't have to cheat to win. And they're just playing a little bit of head games with Tiffany. Um, you could see the seeds of dissent between these two coming up. Next, we go to Nick Aldis chewing Drew out. Meanwhile, on the way to his office, we pretty much tells Drew, go and time out in my office, pretty much. He runs into Bianca Blair and Naomi. And he talks about stripping the belts off of Bianca and Jade because they haven't defended them, obviously because of Jade. And Naomi graciously offered to step up and fill her shoes.
Now tell me I'm wrong about Naomi being the one who attacked Jade Cargill and put her out. It's going to be Naomi.
At this point, traditionally, all the signs show that Naomi's the one who did it now. Traditionally, because the one you last expect, the one that stepped up and helped out, was there, during the hard times, to help her out, is the one that did the backstabbing. Traditionally, am I committed to this at this point? I'm not quite committed, but I've been conditioned that, this is the storyline.
You should commit. I know how many times I've been right about this crap. Come on, man. Just admit it.
Dude, we've been wrong more than we've been right. So, so I'm gonna say committal on this one. I'll give you your props if you're right, but again, I've been conditioned that this is the storyline because I've seen it probably 100 times in my 40 plus years of wrestling. I'm choking back to laugh. Sorry. All right. So next we go to Tiffany versus Michin. Wow, Michin won. I was shocked. And actually, this is a good match. And there was one point where they're, I think, around the edge of the ring, and Tiffany hit her with a 2 feet, drop kick or whatnot, and just smacked her later on the apron. I was like, wow, holy shit. But Michin got the win, which just shocked me. I'm really surprised how this tournament kind of went, actually, but we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't. It could have been better, in my opinion, and I expected it to be better. Again, it wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't the quality match that I would expect from these two. But yeah, I was also surprised that Tiffany took the loss and put over Michin, which at this point, I'll wait till we go over the match with Chelsea Green and Bayley to talk about who I really want to see win this title.
Who I want to win, who's going to win are two different things.
Well, so. Right. And look, I think that Tiffany took the L because to me, this really verified that at some point within the next few months here, because we're coming up on WrestleMania, the road to WrestleMania, And at some point before WrestleMania, Tiffany, she's going to cash in that belt and she's going to win it. I know the big question has been who she's going to cash in on. Is it going to be Livy or her buddy? Um, but yeah, not I guess Naya. There's zero doubt, especially after tonight, that she's going to be cashing that in on Naya, and she's going to take the belt from Naya.
Yep. All right. So next we got Ciampa and Johnny kind of explaining their actions of what happened last week. Um, it's not a New Day turn, but still, I'm kind of reinvigorated with these two. Um, there's a little bit. How do I put it? There was a video history of Johnny there a little bit, and God, now you got me going um, but yeah, they were basically trying to justify their actions. So
Yeah, I really like this. I like this for these two. I like Johnny Gargano's. Man, I like him as a heel. I just do. He brings this aggressiveness to him, and I mean, Ciampa as a heel is just absolutely golden. I mean, it fits him to a T. He looks like that madman that will rip your heart out if that's what it takes to get that win. So.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Yeah, Ciampa doesn't look like somebody you want to mess with on any given day. All right, so next we go to a Roman video promo recapping of the year for him and how it went so tough and whatever. Again, I'm not a Roman fan, so I just kind of whatever. Um, but
Well, I
it
mean, this was good. But this is the thing. I really hope that this is going to be it for this whole fucking feud. That on Netflix on January 6th, that this is going to be settled. But this is the thing as well. WWE has been really pushing the fact that they're going to have a really special big main event on the first episode of Netflix on January 6th. And I really hope that this isn't it because to me, this, sure, this would be a main event, but this would be a main event on just a regular show, not this supposed big debut on Netflix where you're going to have all of these things happening and all these major stars showing up. This isn't that type of that main event. Just doesn't meet the caliber of what they've been bragging, that what they're going to have. So we'll see, I guess.
yeah. All right. So then we go to Solo versus LA Knight, and I must have slept last week because I don't really remember why LA Knight's got a vendetta against Solo. Was he attacked
Yes.
last?
So a couple of things. To answer your question, if you don't remember it, when LA Knight was confronting Shinsuke, and then Andrade came out, and then the bloodline came out. But this is my favorite interview tonight was with LA Knight before he went out there to face Solo, and he was talking about the red necklace that he didn't give a shit about, and he called it the I don't remember what he called it, but oh my gosh, I busted out laughing when he said that. It was great, and I really like how he addressed that. He didn't want to be a part of the feud. He was asked to get involved. He didn't care. There was nothing there from being invested in. He didn't give a shit about the red, necklace that Solo was wearing. It means nothing to him as far as he's concerned. The whole family could go to hell, right? And what I liked about that is this has planted the seeds for a future reason for him to have a feud with the Roman Reigns or any of the members of the bloodline because of this interview saying, hey, one, you disrespected the whatever it's called, or the red. you know,
Follow.
floor, whatever it is. And as well as, he disrespected the family by saying that they could all go to hell. So I think that we may possibly, hopefully, have that feud with LA Knight and a Roman Reigns or something. Because I would like to see those two in a match together.
Yep. So after the match, well, the match ended in a DQ anyhow. Um, Andrea or Andrea Andrade and Apollo Crew came out and they got dusted. But it was nice to see Apollo. I think Apollo is a great talent, just sorely misused.
Oh my
And
God, he is so just underutilized. I
but
mean, he is such a great talent, and he is so good in the ring. Um, yeah, he is someone that I think would be better off possibly leaving WWE and actually going to AEW or even TNA to hopefully get more TV time and more use because WWE seems not to have any interest with him. And when they do, it seems like they're using him as just as an enhanced talent.
yeah, no, I think Dusty Rhodes saw a lot in him and really tried to develop him. I don't know where he's falling short. I think the guy's a hell of a talent. You know, I don't know if AEW would do any better for him. I think TNA might do better for him. Um, NWA would do wonders for him, I think, but whatever. All right. Anyways, then we had, I'm sorry, before that, we had Braun Strowman versus Camilla Hayes, which is pretty much a squash match. And if you blink, you missed it pretty much. Um, and kudos. I'm happy to see Camilo take a loss. Not a fan of Camilo. You know, great talent, just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I think he has potential to be a really big star one day, but I agree that right now there's something missing as far as my investment into him. Um, but I mean, you have to give him his flowers. He's great in the ring. He really is. Um, but yeah, I mean, but this is the thing I didn't like. Am I missing something here? I know that Braun Strowman left for a while. Was he with Raw when he left or with SmackDown?
I want to say Raw.
Okay. Because I thought it was SmackDown because they kept on saying, that Carmelo Hayes' opponent was unknown and he was someone who was new that was coming to SmackDown, a new talent coming to SmackDown. And when I seen it was Braun Strowman, I'm like, wait, what? So yeah, but you're right because Brody um is with Raw, and that was his last feud, right? I mean Bronson with Bronson Reed. His last feud was Bronson Reed, and that's supposedly what took him out of WWE for a while, and
Yeah.
that was on Raw. So yeah, I get it, them saying a new talent coming to SmackDown, but at the same time, I was like, come on, it's not really a new talent, but whatever.
I mean,
I hope that they use Braun Strowman correctly this time and not just have him there to take L's again.
yeah. They've played that card before, though, where, we got a new talent, and you expect someone from a different promotion or NXT, and it's somebody from Raw or SmackDown going vice versa. Um, you know, it is what it is. All right, so next we got Braun Strowman backstage, runs into Pretty Deadly. They offer him a role in their play.
Mark, I tell you what, when I seen Pretty Deadly talking to Braun Strowman, Crystal was sitting next to me playing a game on her phone, and I looked at her, even though I know she didn't give a shit, and I said, if they put Braun Strowman with Pretty Deadly, I swear to you, I am done with SmackDown. I was relieved when he walked away from them.
All right, so then he runs into uh A-Town, Grayson Waller, and Austin Theory. They offer him a slot on the Grayson Waller effect next week, And he actually took it. And so I guess he's going to be on the Grayson or the Waller effect next week. Now, I
Yeah,
expect shenanigans on this.
right. And it's predictable what's going to happen. But I would love to be surprised because this may surprise you. But I honestly think that Braun Strowman being with these two guys would be good. I would like to see them form a faction together.
I'm not against it. I like Waller. I like Austin. Again, they're at this level. They need to get to this level, and they will.
And I don't quit.
And they will.
Yeah, I don't understand why oh what is his name? Not Waller.
Austin Theory.
Yeah, Austin Theory. God damn it. I don't understand why Austin Theory isn't being pushed more because he was at first, and then something happened. I'm not sure what the deal is, but I mean, this kid is good, man. I mean, he is great on the mic. He looks fabulous, right? Um, I mean, he has everything. He's great in the ring. I don't know why WWE is not pushing this guy.
I don't know. Maybe they just don't feel that he gets the rub one way or another from the crowd. Where either they don't like him as a heel, or he's not getting heelish enough heat, or they can't pass him off as a face because the crowd doesn't care for him. I think given the right situations, he's gotten the appropriate amount of heat. I remember him versus Xena, and I thought he fared pretty well in that little escapade.
And he beat Cena. And it's
Right.
like, if you're going to have someone beat Cena, for sure, I thought that he was getting a push. Vince McMahon definitely seen something in this guy. And then when Vince McMahon was out of the scene, it
Yep.
seems like that's when he went down. So it's almost like he's being punished for being a Vince guy.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much. Um. Let's see. Next, we go to Bailey versus Chelsea Green. Piper Niven got involved a little bit. She didn't attack Bailey. She just kind of helped Green out by not getting pinned. Um, Anyways, Green ended up getting the pin. I was shocked. I thought for sure Bailey would take the win.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. I don't like Chelsea Green. Not a fan of hers. I don't even think that she's that good in the ring. I really hope Michi wins this title, but I have a feeling it's going to be Green. But you know what's interesting is I don't know if you do you remember the name Bob Cook?
The name rings a bell. I just can't remember why.
Yeah, Bob Cook was a wrestler back in the day. He wrestled with quite a few different promotions. Um, Great guy. He would wrestle, if I remember correctly, I was younger. He was with Mid South, might have been with WCW at some point, but he's with different wrestling promotions. And I was actually talking to Bob Cook on Facebook. And he had mentioned that he was, how quiet the crowd was for Bailey. And he was saying that nothing against Bailey, but he just thinks that she has run her course with WWE as both a babyface and a heel, and that she should be sidelined for a while and have a younger talent be pushed in her place. Um, and I'm torn about it, right? Because Bailey was very popular at one point. When she turned heel, she definitely got the heat. Now that she's back to be a babyface, I agree she's not connecting with the crowd. But do you think that Bob Cook is right that she has run her course with WWE and that she needs to be taken off camera for a while and have someone younger in her position?
It's not that she's that terribly old. She's not. Um, but I think we've seen all the faces of Bailey we can see, so there's no interest. Um, I think the only thing that could save her now is going back to Hugger Bailey, you know, um, and get that super fan base, kind of personality back. And I don't even know if that would save her. To me, Bailey's never been a draw. She's never been somebody to excite me. She's got the talent. She's got the ability. She just didn't have anything that drew me in. All right.
Maybe for you, right? I can see that. And even for myself, I've never been a huge Billy fan, but we can't say that she's never had a draw because when she was first on the main roster as the hugging Bailey, right? Look, the young girls, who are wrestling fans loved Bailey, absolutely loved her. They would show up at these shows dressed like Bailey. They loved her. So she definitely had a draw from that certain crowd. It's kind of like John Cena, who didn't have that connection. The men hated him, but he had that draw with the children and the women, right? It was the same thing with Bailey. Uh, I think that when they turned Bailey heel, I think they made a mistake when they did that. I think they was expecting more of that upset about her turning heel and more of that heat. Um, Kind of like what Hulk Hogan got, not on that level of what Hogan got, but you know what I'm saying? That heat. And I don't think that happened. And I think they messed up with that. And now that she turned back to being babyface, she might have turned babyface, but she's still that Bailey, that same presentation of the hillbilly type of a thing, right? She didn't change anything about herself, with the exception of being a good person. So I really think they missed the mark with Bailey on that.
Yep. I think you're absolutely right. Um, so getting to that. So now we got Meechin versus Green. Now, Meechin, I think, deserves it, has earned it. Oh my God, I can't believe I said deserved it because I hate that. I think Meechin has earned it. Um, but I think Chelsea Green, because of the heat she gets, will get it. All right. And I'm a Chelsea fan, so it doesn't matter to me. But I'd like to see Mitchin get it over Chelsea, but I'm okay with Green getting it. I know you're not, so we're not going to rant on that. We're going to move
Yep.
on. We're going to move
Yep.
on.
But let me just say this. The thought of Chelsea Green being the first one to have the United States title, right, means that she is going to go down in history 20 years from now when they're talking about the history of the women's United States title and the first person who's ever held it. If it's Chelsea Green, that's the name that's going to be mentioned. And that almost makes me sick to my stomach because Mishi or Mishin would be a much better person to be talked about years from now with the history of that title, in my opinion.
You're right. But again, WWE does not know how to use their minority wrestlers. Doesn't matter if they're man or woman, they don't know how to use their minority wrestlers. And to be quite honest, I don't think they want a minority wrestler to be the first U.S. champ, female U.S. champ, because of the history. You know,
Yep.
right?
They could be, and real quick, I mentioned Bob Cook's name, right?
Yep.
Bob Cook, you will be tagged on the publication of this podcast, right? Because I am trying to get Bob Cook to be a guest on the podcast. So, Mr. Cook, I watched you as a kid. I want you on the podcast. You're going to be tagged on this. Get back a hold of me about being a guest on my show. I would love to have you. I'd be honored.
So next we go to Motor City Machine Gun promo and pretty much how they felt betrayed by Johnny Gargano. You know, whoop de doo, shit happens. You know, get over it. That's the story. Let's move. Let's get on to the next. But I'd like to see them get their rematch. You know, because I think these four guys can put on a really good match. Believe it or not. And I was never really a huge Motor City Machine Gun fan, but I liked them. And for their age, they're still quick as a hiccup, which surprises me because to do what they do at their age, that takes a lot of effort and endurance.
Yeah,
Next, we
I
go.
mean, I'm a fan of theirs, but besides that, you've said everything that I would have said. So we can move on to
All
the
right.
next.
Next, we got a Shinsuke promo. Pretty much saying that nobody's safe and LA Knight didn't deserve the title he had, so he took it away.
I loved his promo. I I've loved his promo for a very long time. Since they have tried to stop making him speak English and they allow him to cut his promos in his language with, of course, the words at the bottom so we can understand what he's saying, he is so much better. I think he feels more comfortable. And his promos are absolutely on point. They have the title on the right guy right now. Let's keep it on him for a while and let's get some great matches out of him.
Not only that, but if they keep on the way they're going with him, that should elevate him to world champion level status. Really should. It really should. All right, so next we go to Tiffany, Nia, and Candice. They're consoling Tiffany for losing, but Candice says she talked to Nick Aldis, and they've got a match against her and Nia. Got a match against Brianna and Naomi next week for the tag titles. And like I said before, you can see the seeds of dissension on this little group, I guess. You know, Candice Ray just takes every opportunity she can to just poke at Tiffany, just poke at her. And I'm not a Candice Ray fan. Great worker. I just this whole poison pixie thing does nothing for me. But boy, she can be a little irritating rash.
Yeah, and the thing with Candice LeRae is that look, she is an enhanced talent. We know that whenever one of the baby faces needs to shine through a match, and you see it's Candice LeRae, you know that she's going to lose to make the, and it is what it is. The takeaway from that was the quick 5-second video or camera shot they had of Tiffany as Naya and Candice walked away and her looking down at that title. That said everything. That said, Nia Jax, you're about to lose your title.
Yep. So then we go to Cody Rhodes coming to the ring and talking about Kevin Owens and their match coming up and whatnot. And then Kevin Owens from his car firing back his retort, which actually had some good one liners. Fact is, we all like to better as Stardust.
Like, that was the best comment of the night.
Yeah, it was. Unfortunately, it was. So, anyways, Cody's like, "Oh, screw this. I'm gonna go find you back." And lo and behold, Kevin Owens is in back and attacks Cody Rhodes and just sets it up for tomorrow night, I guess.
Yeah, and that was good.
No, that one caught me by surprise, and I just got a good chuckle out of it. We all liked it better as Gold Dust or Stardust,
Yeah,
And
that was great. And that was the recap for SmackDown tonight. Pretty good show. I give it a B minus. What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a B minus. I think I'm gonna agree with you for once.
Holy shit!
I know.
Wow.
Look on your
Yeah,
face.
and like I said, that was the recap tonight, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free. And also, don't forget, Josh Turner will be on very, very soon. Great professional wrestler, actor, amongst many of the other great things that he actually does within his community. I am talking to some other people on coming on the podcast. Bob Cook, as of tonight, has been one of them. Mr. Cook, again, please come on my show. I'd be honored. But other than that, Mark,
Stay warm and ring.
What?
Stay warm and ring the damn bell.
Yep. If those in Minnesota, stay warm because we're getting snow and sleet, and it's gonna be one hell of my wife and I and the kids are driving to Wisconsin for this Christmas thing, and of course we got to drive through this weather tomorrow, which is why we're doing a podcast tonight. Normally we do it the day after, and man, that drive's gonna suck. But anyway, you all have a great weekend. We will be back here on Sunday for the Saturday night main event. Looking forward to this. Very excited. Hopefully, we'll see some great things. Other than that, you guys have a great night and absolutely ring the damn bell.